Hi, this is JC Pohl from Teen Truth, author of Building School Culture from the Inside Out and the creator of the Student Ownership Map. And today I want to focus on your activities. How do we build activities on campus that have a social and emotional focus that get kids excited and ultimately build school culture on your campus? Well, I believe the best way to build activities that really attack the social and emotional issues on your campus is to have a leadership summit. So often when I speak at conferences or I do breakout sessions at a conference, I'll ask the audience, I'll say, who here does leadership summits on campus? And it's always so sad. It's only like 3 or 4 people that raise their hand. I believe that leadership summits are something that every school should be doing, and we should be doing at least once or twice a semester. Okay. So in this screencast, I basically just want to teach you how we do leadership summits because it's my hope you can take this information and be able to use it on campus. So when we do leadership summits, I think the first thing that we need to focus on doing is getting a diverse student group in the room. So often we focus on our student council, we focus on our honor society, but you and I know that those kids are great leaders, but they're not always the only leaders on campus. There are also, social leaders and athletes and club leaders and all kinds of different leaders on your campus. I always tell principals, I say, like that gang member, he's a leader too. And that mean girl, she's a leader also. And those skaters and that outcast and, all those kids, they have something to say. So it's important if we're going to run a leadership summit that we get a diverse group of students in the room. The second thing is, I really believe if you're going to run a leadership summit, your administrators need to be in the room. The summits that we run where the principal is there or maybe the counselor's there or the assistant principal, they're just always like so much better because the kids get inspired to know that you're there listening and that their principal's there listening and they're being heard. Okay, especially if we're going to ask that gang member or that mean girl to come in a room and help talk about some of these difficult issues and come up with solutions. Well, for them to know that you're there listening, it changes the dynamics. So I firmly believe that if you're going to do a leadership summit, your administrators have got to be in the room. And also, if we're going to do a leadership summit, it's got to have a social emotional focus. So often, we go to conferences or we see different leadership events, and they're always doing activities, to teach kids how to be better leaders. And those activities are great. But when it comes to building school culture, like we need to flesh out what the social and emotional issues are on campus. And that way we can build activities and campaigns and different things to help alleviate those pressures. And I think the best way to do that is in a summit with a diverse group of students that can, talk about these pressures in depth. All right. And some of these pressures, them as educators, they're all over the map. I mean, stress is obviously a huge issue for kids. Body image, trying to fit in, race and family issues and depression, anxiety. There are so many different things coming at our students. So we really love to give them the time in the summit. We take 10 or 15 minutes where, we throw down the poster paper and the markers and, we allow them to kind of get all this stuff out and get the words on paper. We do not know what we're fighting against until we can actually get it out on paper and see it. And then what we love to do in the summit is have them come up with the solutions, have them stand up, have them brainstorm, have them talk to their peers about ways that they can solve these issues on campus. So you can see the girls here standing up, on the left-hand side. You can see the kids down on the right-hand side, brainstorming together. You can see me in the top right-hand corner. The reason I put this picture in here is what I loved about this summit. It was up in Alaska where we actually had like 10 schools come together. So we had 10 kids or 10 or 12 kids from each school, and we had about 100 kids there, participate in the summit. So these are things that can be done across your school, across your district. We've even done them citywide, like the one that we did in Anchorage. So, summits can be a very powerful, way to address these social emotional issues. And some of the things that have come out of summits that I've loved is like a week of kindness, where kids came up with the idea to, like Monday's high five day and Tuesday's pay a compliment day. And they just make a wonderful week of kindness to help kids that might be dealing with stress. Another one of my favorite ideas that came out of a summit was a school picnic. I was at a school in Oklahoma where in the cafeteria, the tables in the cafeteria were becoming very exclusive. And so what the kids want to do in order to allow kids to kind of, mingle better, is they took all the tables out, they put blankets down in the cafeteria, and they had a school picnic. And that way, you could sit with your friends, and you didn't have to worry about who could fit at which table. Another great example that came out of Leadership Summit is a peer mediation awareness campaign. It was so awesome. Like, we were in our groups, and the kids were going around talking about issues, and they were really focused on mental health. And like 3 or 4 of the first groups all said, we need peer mediators on campus. We need students to help with, these mental health issues. And then it was awesome. Like, in the 5th group, one of the kids stood up and he goes, hey, I just want you all to know that I am a peer mediator, and we do have a peer mediation program on campus. So it was so valuable. Luckily, the vice principal was in the room. He got to hear this, and it was so valuable because it's like we had a program on campus that addressed the needs and the desires of our students, but they weren't aware of it. So they did an awareness campaign on social media and, across campus to make sure the kids were aware that the peer mediation group was there. And then, of course, one of my favorites was family movie night, just pulling parents and families to campus. That obviously connects your community and, gets people excited about, being a part of your community. And that ultimately, that connection with our family and that connection at our school is what decreases a lot of those social emotional issues. So some of your keys to success, if you want to run a summit, the first is actually running the summit. Like, we can't just talk about it. We got to do it. And I would suggest that you do one in the fall and one in January or February. So you can kind of like get things going in the school year. And then in January or February, you can reassess what's going on in the school year and hopefully come up with some solutions as you head out towards the end of the spring semester. You need a diverse group of students. I know I talked about this earlier, but we got to make sure that there's other kids in the room. It just makes the conversation so much richer, and it makes the solutions, better, because when you run those activities or that campaign, those kids are aware of it, and you have the buy-in, and so the activity obviously has more success. We need that social emotional focus. We need the admin support. Okay, your administrators, your counselors have got to be in the room, and ultimately we got to get to work. We can't just do activities with the kids. We got to pull out the poster papers. We got to pull out the markers. We got to get down on the floor. We got to do the work, and that's what we do with the Teen Truth Leadership Summit. And I think that's why our summit has so much success, is because we come out of there with a tangible action plan. What are the issues, and what are we going to do as a campus to solve them? So if there's anything that we can do to help you, that's kind of the ins and outs of how we run leadership summits. So I'm hoping you can take this information and you can use it on your own. If it's not something that you want to do yourself, know that we can bring in one of our speakers, and we're happy to do it for you. Most of the summits usually run 2 to 3 hours and can be run, across your school or across your district. Of course, you can email me or call me. You can find us at teentruth.net, and you can find us out on social media. We're here to support you and root for you, because we believe that we're better together, and that you and I and our team, we can help support you in building school culture. So thanks so much for stopping by for this screencast. I hope you enjoyed it. You have a great day.